many single objects to group, to not loop through all objects that group them in a single area. Ah. I wonder if that's maybe Unity that does that. Alright, so not sure if I want to just go and do some scripting right away. I think I might figure out how to do this OpenStreetMaps.
What's up, guys? Justin here with the CGEssentials.com, back with another.
The start to these videos is so YouTube-y. Some LODs work by just hiding all objects. Genshin LODs look much worse than Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Perfect LODs. Does Zelda Breath of the Wild even have LODs? I feel like Zelda Breath of the Wild is so low polygon that it's like it doesn't even need LODs. Like there's not even textures or anything.
Another Blender add-on tutorial for you. So in today's video, we're going to check out an add-on that allows us to create a complete city inside of Blender. So this can be very useful if you're trying to create context for a model, or if you're just looking for a city that you can render in order to create images or something like that. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so today's add-on is called Blender OSM. And so Blender OSM is an add-on that you can use in order to create cities as well as terrain and roads and other things like that inside of Blender. And so there's two versions of this add-on. So there's a free version which will bring in your buildings like this with no textures on them. You can also use it to bring in terrain and some other things like that. And then there's also a premium version with additional features. So the premium version, and I will link to both of these in the notes down below, is about $18. And this one imports buildings with...
What you mean Zelda low poly? Zelda on PC works in 4K 60 FPS. Look very close to AA game. Yeah, I think it's low poly though. Yeah, relative to most games, I feel like it's really low polygon count. This doesn't even have Breath of the Wild, oh my god. How many polygons? Someone on Twitter says that 2B's butt has more polygons than the entirety of Ocarina of Time. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think that's probably true. Never mind, it's a lie. The person's wrong. The person is wrong. Imagine lying on the internet. Count of Breath of the Wild. I'm really surprised there's no actual, like, polygon count. I'd assume since it's for Switch, it's fairly low polygon count. Wow. Yeah, Cemu can display polygon count. That's what I'm saying is like emulators should have this information. That's how they got it for the Ocarina of Time. It's through the emulator. Yeah, well, whatever. That's weird. I feel like, you know how there's like these videos of like people going through old games and like figuring out how networking and stuff works in some games? I feel like people should do that with like Nintendo games and stuff, is go like they have this many polygon counts, and maybe there is. Okay, I downloaded this this thing though. Nintendo killing people with copyright. I think I agree. I don't think I don't think any of the consoles are really supportive of game developers, because like look at people who do game jams and stuff. You're never going to be able to submit a game jam game or something for consoles or for like iOS or whatever, because Apple and like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo are so closed when it comes to their shops and their things that no one's ever going to be able to just freely share games, because Nintendo and all the other companies are going to need to take their cut. Alright, hold on 1 second. I can go feed my cat. I got food for myself too. Alright, let's watch this.
With UV mapping as well as materials. It also comes with textures that emulate lights, and the ability to import forests and trees and 3D objects, as well as satellite images on your terrain. So for about $18, you can get a bunch of additional features inside of your Blender models for creating cities. So I'm going to do this in the premium version, just so you can see what's available in here. Just note that with the free version, you can do some of this, but not all of this. So So if you want to start with the free version, you can definitely download that from the links down below as well. I will note this also gives you the ability to name a price. So if you do want to support this developer, even if it's a couple bucks, if you decide to download the free version, supporting developers is always great because it allows them to keep developing and keep doing what they're doing and bringing us great new tools. And so when you download this, first thing to note is it has some pretty substantial documentation. So the documentation gives you pretty great instructions on how exactly this whole thing works. So if you ever get stuck, make sure to go to those documentation pages. Note that there's a documentation page for the premium version as well as a documentation for the free version. So if you ever do get stuck and need more information, visit these links in the notes down below the video. And so when you first install this, what you're going to do, and let's go ahead and start a new Blender file. So when you first install this, you're going to install it just like you would any other add-on. So you just go to install and then you go find the zip file. And then once you bring that in, if we look at this, you can see how there's a few things we need to set up down here. So the first thing is it's going to ask for a directory to store your downloaded OpenStreetMap and terrain files. So I just put this in my add-ons folder so that I know exactly where to look for this, but you need to set a folder for that. If you get the premium version or the paid version, there's a directory that you can put the assets that come with it, so the building materials and the vegetation and the other things like that. So I put those in the same folder just for ease of use. And then there's also a note right here where you need to get a Mapbox access token. And so there's more instructions on this inside of the documentation. If you scroll down, it's a little ways down the page, but basically there's a note in there stating that you need to go into Mapbox. That's the provider for the map information, and you need to sign in and get an access token so that you can download materials for free from Mapbox. So if you follow this link, it'll take you to Mapbox's page. You can figure that out. And so when you get to that page, when you go through that process, there'll be an access token on this page that you can copy, and then you can put right here. You can actually click on this button right here in order to get that Mapbox access token. So you can click on this and then it'll pop up a Mapbox page that you can use to sign in. But once you get that Mapbox token, then you can download the satellite imagery. And so once we have this all set up, we can go ahead and we can close out of this. So this is going to give us a menu on the right hand side of the page that we can use in order to do all of our importing. And you can access that by tapping the N key on your keyboard and going down to the OSM tab. So this is where all of your options are going to be for your different map data. And so the way that this works is this imports data based on coordinates.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think I need this tutorial. Let's just open up Blender and see. Hold on a second. I'm just going to finish eating this banana and then go wash my hands. Alright. Yeah, I might need to export this. Let's see. Actually, maybe because Windows lets you... Windows just lets you open zip files. Maybe I can just go into it like a folder. Oh, okay. It worked. So I think I might need to restart Blender. Never mind. So I'm just gonna... I already downloaded... Wait, no, I didn't download a file. Never mind, hold on, let me download. Let me download some OpenStreetMap files. Or a OpenStreetMap file. So this is what I was looking at before when I said that, how do I close this, by the way? How do I close this? This is so annoying. Whoever designed this UI and decided to cover like a solid 1/8 of it with a big panel, I fucking hate them. God damn it, dude. Like, what did they plan there? So here you can see though how like the majority of place just isn't mapped, which I guess makes sense, but it's just like, it's actually really bad. It's really good how much area is mapped, but alright, anyways, let's find like a city. Kamloops. Merritt. Actually, an airport might be good. I can't find the file. What's it called? Map.osm. Blender objects for the terrain, import buildings, water objects, forest, railways, default roof shape, flat. height to use for buildings. Import a single object. I don't know if I want it as a single object. Let's just try it to begin. Valid directory for data and add-on preferences isn't set. Okay, so I do need to set that value. Set it to my downloads folder. Okay, so immediately it's bigger than my field of view. Didn't I say import a single object? Okay, here we go. So it's so big that it is outside my view. So I actually need to increase. Oh my god. There's no terrain. I probably need to select a terrain object, don't I? Because, like, this is all flat. So this is insanely good when it comes to roadways and buildings and stuff. Are the buildings different heights? It looks like they are. Yeah, it looks like the buildings are different heights. Okay. So there's no terrain though. Oh no. How do I delete hierarchy? There we go. Alright, so I should read the documentation for this. Terrain import. Set the value in the drop-down list to terrain. Select a map extent for your area. Oh, does the terrain need to be grabbed from online? Does this file not include terrain data? Maybe it doesn't. I actually feel like... Hold on. I feel like this file is way too small to contain terrain. I think it's just roads. 4 megabytes. Actually, it could have terrain. It definitely could have terrain. How do I just create a new... Add empty. How do I just add empty again? Like nothing. So let's import nothing else. So VR chat, detailed 3D scans of whole city. Those maps like 500 megabytes inside. I wonder if they somehow got like the big maps or something. Oh, it says to select terrain. Object empty for terrain doesn't exist. Huh. Oh, yeah, you need to get the terrain data off online. Okay, okay. So terrain data is only online. So is this the same coordinates that I have here? No, it's not. Nice, it calculates vertex count on the fly as well. $56K vertices. I feel like there should be a web-based version of this where you can just like export a dot object of an area. That maybe that I feel like that might be something that exists. Oh my god, it works. Man, dude, after seeing those errors initially, I'm gonna be honest, I was like, oh dude, this isn't gonna work. I'm just gonna get some errors when I try to import it. Oh my god, man. Image overlay, server. So what if we just try importing this straight from the server? What is this number of levels? So I think this is how it generates the buildings. Imagine useful software where you press button and it works. Let me look at the buildings option. Buildings height and number of floors used to create the final scene. 3D parts of a building with complex structure is also processed. Number of floors are used to create the final scene. Default number of levels, 6. Alright, well, let's try it. Then you remember you cannot even include FFmpeg to your software because copyrights. I believe you could if your software was also under GPL or a completely open source, like non-profit license. If this crashes now, that'll be funny. I probably should have just imported off the file there. Okay, so this is what I want to see. The average level height in meters, if the building height is defined by number of levels, not by the total height, the add-on randomizes the level height on the given average height level. Default number of levels is assigned to an import building if the building height is not set. You can add several number of levels with their relative weights between 1 and 100. Oh, so this will probably just make them all the same size. Oh, dude, look at it. Look at it. Okay, it's got clipping here. It's got clipping, but that's so good. my god, that's so good, dude. And this map must have building height because the buildings actually have a height. Okay, so this seems... So this seems kind of scuffed. I need to turn off this vegetation. So this is so cool how it splits it up into the different categories too. Okay, so there's few things I need to figure out how to do. Separate these objects like a few units off the terrain so that they're not clipping and they don't intersect. I mean, I can just do this manually, but it would be nice if it automatically did it when it imports. So the main things I would need for this, oh my god, this is crazy though. So it's actually split the roads. It actually still keeps the roadway data. So look at this. This is footways, footpaths. Okay, I should. So these tiny places are footpaths. So these aren't complete roads. These are railways. So this must be the railway station here because the railway kind of like stops right there. This is the highway. Look at this. Literally got the curves. Dude, this is insane. This is actually insane. Like, for just like... Okay, so it has no textures right now, right? But because this is Blender, and like even in Unity I can do this too with node-based, where we just go into the material here. And look at this. Look at this. It's got all the materials. So, okay, not all the materials, but we can basically do like a world space texture for this, and it doesn't even need UV mapping. And, hold on, where's the terrain? So the terrain is separate. What we can just do instead, I'm thinking moving everything upward out of the terrain. Nah, dude, we can just go in the terrain and just move the terrain down. It's low poly. In total, this whole area is 165,000 triangles, which is actually insanely good, I think, because considering this is an area of like 10 by 10 kilometers. Okay, hold on. I feel like this would be way better with am I dumb? How do I do this again? Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so far there's just Z clipping between the roads. So I wonder if there's a way to merge. I feel like, okay, first of all, I could actually just split up the heights so that the roads are how much height is there between the roads and the land? Not much. That's nice. So these areas where the roads clip, I can just like lift one road up higher than the other. But I'm thinking there's probably like, I feel like in Blender there should be a way for me to merge these 3D meshes. There's definitely some issues with it though, like you can see here roads not connecting. Overall though, this is such a good starting point, like such an insanely good starting point. And like look at this, it even has the river. Oh my god. I'm very happy with this. So let me just see, is there a better way? I can lower this. So like, I feel like there's a Blender modifier or something that I can actually use to snap these to the terrain. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, it's moving everything up and down with the terrain. Oh my god, that explains why it didn't even fix it. Okay, so there's something about this open map data. That it somehow has it locked. For some reason it's... Oh my god, I'm dumb. I've selected both of these objects. I don't know how to use Blender, dude. I actually don't know how to use Blender. Is that just these objects selected? Yeah, why is it moving everything up and down together? Oh, so this is forest area. It's interesting these footways you can see just like going through the mountains and things. Okay, so why is this linked to the terrain? Oh my god, what is that? Is that edit mode? That's edit mode. Okay. But yeah, I swear that this is like, is there a way to like link transformations or something? Because I feel like this map.osm's transform is linked to the terrain transform. Like I can't deselect the terrain here. Terrain envelope. Export to FBX and try in Unity. I mean, I don't see how that'll change the 3D model though. Is there anything about the transforms being linked? Blender unlink transforms. Remove a single object from a linked duplicate. I actually don't understand. So this is really annoying. I want it to snap it to the terrain, but then I want it to unsnap it from the terrain after I've done the snapping. Oh my god, this is so triggering. The way that... Dude, Blender actually still has some so scuffed things with it. The way that if you disable all of these and re-enable them, it re-enables all of the visibility. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't disable the visibility of the group without doing all of these at once? I don't... It actually doesn't make sense. Okay, so this isn't moving the buildings, but it's moving all the other stuff. So I think it's... Oh, here we go. Shrink wrap terrain. Oh my god, this is what it is. This is what it is. Oh my god. Terrain envelope. So what if we disable this? Oh, then the water flies up at the end. I don't see object modification because chat overlap. That's a good point. I should probably put my camera over here for Blender. Alright, so this shrink wrap is definitely what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is how it snaps the... Alright. So the offset is 0.2. If we set to 0, yeah, it should have more. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go through and actually change the shrink wrap modifier for a bunch of these other ones at once. I'm not certain, but I think that you can... No, wait, can you not multi-edit objects in Blender? Multi-edit trim. Multi-edit modifiers. Use Control-L to copy the modifier from one mesh. Oh my god, this is going to be so annoying. Need to go through and change each of these modifiers so that it doesn't clip through the ground. I wish Blender gave you a way to multi-edit. I think better import and export again to get rid of modifiers. Yeah, but that's the thing, I'm not trying to get rid of modifiers, I'm trying to actually change the modifiers. Exporting it will just keep the same modifiers. Yeah, I know it removes modifiers, but it removes the modifiers by applying the modifiers. It literally just removes your ability to change the modifiers and bakes it into a mesh. Man, Blender Blender's way of navigating the view is so goddamn bad when it comes to big maps. So you can actually see there's a tiny little space under these, and I think I can get rid of that with this offset. Either way, I don't actually need to do that right now. I just want to figure out what the best way to do this is. Cull face off back. Negative, positive. Formed, extracting vertices, limit the distance used for projection. I wish there was a way to keep it in this walk navigation. Let me actually see. There must be a keybind for walk navigation. So I can just quickly go in and out. Shift S replaced by Shift Grave key. Oh, okay. Nice. They just don't document their changes. That's kind of normal. All right, let's test this. So I want to try to get it with a little offset without clipping. But that's my issue, is I actually don't think that's going to be possible without, like, see how it's like floating partially above the ground? It's floating like a meter above the ground right now. So what I need to do is I need to like bake this into the actual terrain, I think. Like, I think what I'd actually want to do if I made this into a level is I think I would actually use this as like a texture map for the terrain, or maybe like deform the terrain downwards based off this. So then it would create like an embed where the riverbed is, and then that'll be the river. I don't know. I want to see if there's a way that I can get this to go down more accurately to the ground while not clipping through. Like, this is pretty good, but it still has clipping. I guess it doesn't need to be perfect either. This is still amazing for what it is. I feel like there might supposed to be buildings here. Maybe not. And this must be a bridge. Because there's no way that cars cross water. Maybe. I wonder if there's a better way to do the shrink wrap, though. Does the subsurface levels help? Oh god. I did 14 subsurface divisions. That could have almost crashed Blender. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what that's doing. Project nearest surface point. Oh wait, that's completely different. Nearest surface point, outside surface. Oh god, so that that broke the rivers. Side, outside. Oh wait. Above surface, outside surface. Side. This one might... Oh wait. It's floating in the air. So that one isn't gonna work. Target, normal, project. That one looks like it actually has better shape. Above surface, outside surface, outside. Yeah, so projection is the only thing that really works. Are any of these better? Not sure which of these is best. That seems kind of good. Above surface is nice too. I almost feel like inside with negative is actually the best. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get like no clipping with the way this works of rendering them over top of one another with not exact heights. what I'd want to do is I'd want to bake the roads or whatever, the data. This is so cool though. So yeah, I'm just thinking, so imagine in a game you import this and it gives you like all of the road data. So like you import this to a game and then you can access, how would you access this 3D model data? As like it's pretty low polygon, so I'm actually thinking, why didn't, there we go. Wait, isn't, oh my god, why is it zooming in so much? I actually hate Blender sometimes, dude. It's like so unintuitive. Road data more useful in vector format if you talk about navigation. Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying, like, if you already have this 3D model data, why can't, oh my god, why is it selected here? Why does it select the pathways here? And then when I go to edit mode, oh my god, because it's, this doesn't make sense. It says display modifier in edit mode, but it's not displaying the modifier in edit mode. Oh my god, okay, so this is here, I just can't edit it. Well, it's in the modifier. That, god. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So this is in vector format. This is literally in vector format right now. Wait. So is Blender must be rendering this as like a shape. Wait. I'm so confused. It's rendering it in 2D? How do I make this zoom in and out slower? There we go. I don't know how people deal with this regular navigation view. Like, this is so bad compared to the 3D navigation, but it's how Blender has designed it to work. What did I do? It's, oh, I went under the map. Ah, yes. So how is it? Minimum resolution 3D. What if I make it 3D? Surface resolution in the U direction. So yeah. Ooh, okay. I wonder. I don't think like, I think I need to triangulate. I'm fairly positive I need to triangulate this for Unity. But I'm thinking if we imported it as lines, as these vector lines, that would be way more useful. Because, like, having these lines of the roads, oh my god, like, this is the format that you want the roads to be in. See, I don't even need to import them as like polylines or splines. So I think what I'd probably want to do is just like export as a dot object or something and import it myself, and then use those road lines. There's no way to get polylines in without you writing an importer. Oh my god, I can't drag and drop. There we go. Build your own map based on vector data in Unity is always an option. There's no way to get polylines in without you writing an importer that understands and convert to something that exists at all. CAD software does not tend to create real-time meaningful data, polylines as well as plentitude. Series of vector 3s, yeah. SVG or XML format where everything is paths with height. That's exactly what this is imported from, as one of the XML files. But yeah, all I'm looking for is so ideally, like, that's the thing, is I'm not certain how is the size of these roads encoded, because it looks like I don't see any. Defines the bevel shape. Profile roads. So like, I'm feeling there's something that defines the width of the roads, and I don't know what it is. Oh my god, the Blender viewport is so bad. Like, one of the things I'm looking right now is it seems like a bunch of the roads and things are different sizes. And I feel like they're actually bigger than this. Like, this isn't the actual accurate representative size of the roads. So what is this profile? Like, I can't, yeah, I'm confused. I can't edit any of these. I don't know what these profiles are. I'm sure they're used for something. I just don't know what. But yeah, these roads are actually smaller. Oh, service roads are smaller. So the different size of the roads is based off of whether or not it's like residential or primary. I'm curious though, how does Blender define the size of how is the size of these defined when they're rendered? Like, this is so unclear on Blender's part. Like, what? So this says object data properties, but it's obviously like how do I tell what object this is, what type of object it is, and how it's being rendered? Because like I can see that it's like a spline and it's like a line, but Blender has literally no information in any of these tabs about it being a line. Delete and see what changes. Active spline, custom properties, geometry, taper object. So like what happens if we unassign the bevel? Okay, so the bevel is exactly what decides the size of it. That doesn't make any goddamn sense though. Like Blender has literally no information on what I'm doing here when I set these. God damn it, Blender. I need to bring up Blender line bevel documentation. Holy shit, Blender. It comes out with the bevel modifier. Oh my god. So did Blender just like forget that they have line objects or something, or what? Like, I'm actually so confused. What object am I editing right now? Because I can't find it in the Blender documentation at all. So it's got line tool, but this isn't even what I'm doing. Like, what the hell, dude? Thickness profile, subdivisions, use curve. Like, this isn't even the same thing. What object is this? How the hell is Blender this, like... How the fuck do you create a system like this and you don't put a single name anywhere of what object type or what, like... I understand it's Blender and, like, it's fucking notorious for not documenting things or explaining anything, but this is actually ridiculous. Like, I'm assuming this is a polyline, because it's basically a polyline, but it doesn't match up with the polyline documentation. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, is it a curve? It has to be a curve. But if it's a curve, why doesn't it say it's a curve anywhere? We're gonna look through absolutely everything. Like, what is this? So this says shape, and this says spline. So it like has to be a spline, right? But there's nothing here that says this is like spline. There's so many parts of Blender that are so good, And then there's parts like this that are just like, what the fuck were the developers thinking when they designed this UI? Because holy shit, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so curve deform. This has to be a curve. It has to be a curve. Oh my god. This doesn't make sense. Unity or Blender, how does curve beveling work? How does this profile object define what the actual size is? Okay, so this, I already knew all of this. You can bevel an object, or you can bevel a curve using another curve as the shape filling. But this profile here doesn't have any curve assigned to it. It literally doesn't make sense. What the fuck is this? Like, there's literally no curve points here. How the hell is it beveling something that doesn't exist? Like, I have to be missing something here. There's no bevel. Like, what? So, like, if I delete this, it should have huge issues, I'm thinking. Oh my god. This just straight up doesn't make sense. So if I take away the bevel object, we don't get our bevels anymore, but we should be able to just do it manually. I wish I could view the final resolution of that. I feel like that's way too high resolution. And I feel like it's in like 3D. Like, I can't actually see the 3D shape that it's generating because Blender doesn't show you the 3D shape until you do some triangulation and then actually view it as the 3D shape. Absolutely triggering. So the normals, the lighting and normals is all screwed up there. I'm feeling like that's way more than just a flat object, and that's actually like a full 3D bevel. Maybe not. It actually doesn't look too bad. So, like, why does... I'm assuming this software uses the bevel profile so that it has proper normals, but like I just straight up don't understand this. Okay, blend. How do we bake the curve? Let's just bake the curve to a 3D mesh and then we'll look at it there. Like, this is so triggering to me, this whole thing of how it renders the curve as a 3D model and then it doesn't actually give you access to any of the 3D model data until you bake it. Like, all I want to do is just maybe view how many vertices or triangles there are. Like, it says here vertices. It doesn't say the triangles. Oh my god. How can curves be converted to mesh? You can't use a constructive modifier on a curve because a curve has to be defined. Okay, so now how do I view... Here we go. Yeah, so that looks really scuffed. I'm fairly certain that's why the developer didn't use the default. I feel like there's actually... I think this is just like completely broken. Maybe it's just me, but like... Okay, wait. Oh my god. The keybinds for Blender are completely different than Unity. Dude, I actually hate Blender so much. Like, the 3D viewport navigation is so scuffed. It's like, it's actually almost broken. The fact that if you try to view a large scene like this and move your camera, it just fucking swings it around. Yeah, so it's creating a full 3D mesh. It's insanely inefficient. Okay. So we'll convert it back to a curve now. Maybe we can't. Oh wait, there we go. I'm really disappointed in some of the stuff that Blender's doing in these updates though. Like, this shit is fucking pathetic. Not having the fact that this is actually binded to shift grave key and it just doesn't even do the key binding. Like, there's so many little things that are actually getting more scuffed in Blender. Alright, so let's see what it looks like with the bevel object. I want to figure out how to change the depth though. Like, this doesn't make sense to me how this is called a profile. But then there's actually no data assigned to this profile. And it matches nothing like the actual Blender. I wonder if the Blender... I actually feel like this Blender guide is just outdated. Outdated Blender guide. That's the crazy thing though. They wrote like a whole wiki on Blender and then they fucking changed everything about Blender. That's one of the huge issues like with open source software and just having like no real direction. All right, so what like I'm so confused actually. What even is this profile? Nothing I change about it actually changes. Nothing about it changes anything. Like, what? Like, I'm thinking it has to be an option here. Because, like, it's a curve profile. But, like, changing this breaks it. It straight up doesn't make sense. Apply the curve radius with path following it and deforming it. I don't understand this. Represented by Blender, curves with a profile object. How to edit the width of a specific road type. Oh my god, I bet the developer just created some super over-the-top method for doing this. Enable way profiles, enable the Blender object. The profiles are located in close vicinity of the origin. Select the related road profile, press tab to start editing. Oh my god, I need to enable... You can't edit it until it's enabled? Wait, what? Why is all of this disabled? What? Enable the Blender collection wave profiles. Dude, it's enabled. Why is it grayed out? I'm like, what? Can you check viewport visibility? Where is that? Top right icon. The one under where you marked it, right here. Oh my god, is there a way to enable... How do I enable all of these? How do you enable all... Oh my god, click each icon. Dude, what the fuck, Blender devs? Actually... So, okay, in Unity and a whole bunch of other game engines, there's a way to zoom in on an object. How do you zoom in and focus on an object in Blender? There has to be a way to do that in Blender. Oh my god, you have to place a 3D cursor on it? Are you fucking kidding me? There's some things that are so good about Blender, and there's other things that are just straight up pathetic and ridiculous. Alt F focused by default while the shortcut for the view is selected. Numpad period. What? View selected, numpad period. Alt middle mouse. See, that's not zooming in though. That's zooming out. It's so it's not zooming in, it's just panning. It's so ridiculously bad in some aspects. Like, what the fuck? No way to zoom in. I can't believe this is something you have to enable in user preferences. It's not even here. Here we go, under navigation. Nope. Oh my god, it zooms me out. What? I'm thinking that I've just like changed a bunch of options in Blender just by pressing random hotkeys. Holy shit, dude. There's some stuff in Blender like this that it's actually just pathetic. Like the state of this as a 3D modeler. There's some like little things like this. How they haven't got this working simply yet is like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous. Pressing dot focuses on the selected object. It doesn't though. It doesn't though. Oh my god. Ah. There's no way, like, this is ridiculous. There's no way it's this complicated to zoom in on a specific object. Like, if it takes me longer than 30 minutes to figure this shit out, I'm gonna blow my fucking mind. Like, numpad dot to zoom to selected. That doesn't even do anything. View, align view, selected. There's no align view selected anymore? What the fuck? Dude, sometimes I complain about Unity. Like, actually, I complain about Unity a bunch. At least Unity functions as a basic 3D model editor. Like, this shit, Unity is miles ahead of Blender on. I can't believe this. Like, this is unbelievable. Blender doesn't have an aligned object. Like, there's literally no way to click and automatically focus in the viewport camera on an object. Like, there has to be this. Like, every game engine in 3D Modeler has this. Align your view of the selected active object. No. 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 Points the active camera towards the selected object based on the current viewport. Doesn't work. How do I set the viewport camera to selected? Oh my god. Center viewport camera on selected. Use numpad dot or view/align. This doesn't work for me though. What the hell? View align view. I straight up don't get this. This does not make any sense. So I wonder if it can't do this just because like, wait, let's actually try. Does this work with the lines? No, it doesn't. So like, I'm thinking there has to be like, there has to be a way to do this. There's no way that you can't focus in and zoom in automatically on an object in Blender. That's just like, there's no goddamn way. So let me try creating a cube. Why did it automatically put the cube here? So then view, viewpoint, align to view, bottom, no, wait. Align to selected. Move 3D cursor to object, then camera to object. I don't remember the buttons. Yeah, I tried doing the 3D cursor before. I actually can't remember. Is it shift click? Now, how do you move the 3D cursor again? I swear to God, you used to be able to just press Alt or whatever. Yeah, like it says here, use Alt, but it's definitely not Alt. Use Alt or Control while dragging the mouse. Like, has Blender just changed a giant amount of stuff and just broken it in the process, or what? Yeah, so I can do cursor to that's still not. You look at outdated tutorials, they're tutorials from 4 years ago. I actually can't move the cursor. What is this? What is this? Is there a reason I can't, like, yeah, this is a Blender, it's the default Blender key map, shift right mouse button. Oh my god, finally. That still doesn't, the cursor isn't even hitting the geometry. I think it's working now. Still though, dude, you should be able to just click an object and align the view to it. You shouldn't have to do any of this shit with the cursor. Like, it doesn't even zoom in. This is the thing. Like, objects have size. A cursor is just a single point. I can't believe that Blender doesn't have this implemented. But it does nothing. Yeah, this is exactly for me. I wonder if my I should check my viewport or viewpoints. Okay, so that's seeming to work. Alright, you know what? Oh my god. This works. It just doesn't work for certain objects. Oh my fucking god, Blender, are you kidding me? So it works. This whole time it's actually been working. The 0 on the numpad was originally the correct thing. It just doesn't work for these text objects. Like, I don't even know what these objects are because Blender has no fucking information in their user interface whatsoever. Oh my god. Stupid goddamn shit. Okay. So select the related road profile and press tab to start editing it in editing mode. God, the viewport is so bad. Perform scaling, simply move them. The corresponding road path will change interactively. Okay, alright. So these are upside down as well. Amazing. Amazing. Alright, let's I'm gonna edit them in one of these other tabs. I'm confused. Okay, never mind. This isn't... Wait, can't you select two objects at... I'm so confused. There it goes. There it's selecting all of the objects. Alright, I guess, yeah, that's not going to work how I expect it to work. It says that you can change the size of this while also watching it change, but I can't find any way to do that. Also, what the hell is this? Before this was a line. And now it's just like a point. I don't understand. So it says you can just scale or move the points. Corresponding road or path will change, but that is obviously breaking it. Why is it... What? Why is it scaling in that direction? And why can't I click... Like, this is so scuffed. Like, holy shit. Actually, how is this so bad? I can't even... Why is it not giving me the options to just move stuff based off the crossbar? And how do I get rid of this damn camera alignment? Oh my god. So let me try manually moving that, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, so that definitely scuffed the roads. Or did it? See, it's so, like, this actually is such a bad system. I don't know what this developer was thinking here, using these road vertices as the distance for this. It's such a bad system. Like, holy shit. It's so hard to work with. You can't view it as you're changing it because you can only select one object at once. Like, it's actually so stupid. No fucking way. Oh my god, I can just change the transform. I don't need to worry about any of this stupid shit. I can just go into the transform right here and change the scale. There we go. This dev has no goddamn idea what they're doing. Perform scaling of rotated vertices or simply move them. The corresponding road or path will change interactively. You can't change it interactively because to view the vertices, you can't view the whole 3D model anymore. And you can only have one object selected in Blender. Oh my god. No wonder so many game engines exist with its own system of building the world. This is like, yeah, this is... You can definitely tell that this guy kind of just hacked this together. It's not... I guess maybe the pro version might be better, but this kind of scares me for what the pro version would be like. That definitely didn't convince me to get the pro version for that software. So, that answers my question though. The size of the roads is encoded as the distance between vertices in these profiles. Such a stupid system, but we figured it out. So the thing is, there should be a format, blender.object export curve points. So I believe I should be able to export these curve points as a dot object, and then that will give me a vector map of the streets. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Export curve as list of points. Preferably with equal distance. I can't find how to get the coordinates on a curve on a certain position. Oh, this is for writing a custom. Still doesn't give coordinates on the path. Oh my god. It should give a... there should be a way to do this. Yes, this is what I want. Control points. Oh, so this just exports them as edges. Okay, so this should totally work. Okay, this is actually crazy good. Like, this should be so useful for, like building a city in Blender or for a game engine. So like basically you take all this road data. So this is the hard part that I've found is integrate, or oh man, actually that made it a lot simpler. So what I was saying that I was worried about at the beginning was that it actually had like size and thickness data encoded in the road path somehow or somewhere here. I didn't think that was something in curves, and it doesn't use that. It uses a fixed size depending on what type of road it is. So what that means is I can just export this path of the road, and then I can just put in my own size of what the size of the road is depending on what type of road it is. So this should actually be really easy to put in a game engine as actual road data, because I just export this as a dot object, import the points from the dot object file, and then the points give me the path of the road. And then I use that thickness from here to either, I have a few ideas, can either generate a 3D model of the roads, or could do texture, if you're doing a terrain, can do automatic texture mapping. Like what I was saying is you get a whole bunch of clipping issues with like water and things like roads if you try to overlay them as meshes over top of the terrain. Like the best thing for me to do would to actually be to paint the roads and the water onto the terrain, and then they can also benefit from stuff like mip mapping and stuff, so there isn't as much aliasing. My main issue with this is a 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer area will be a giant texture map. Like just texturing in these roads will be a ton of detail. So I actually feel like texture maps are not efficient when it comes to space, and that the 3D model is actually way better when it comes to like 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer maps like this. So I have a like few different ideas. I'm thinking one of the best things to do would actually to still just be to use Blender to generate the road 3D model, because then you can do any of the shrink wrapping stuff you want to make sure it lines up to the terrain properly. But then the difficult part becomes you no longer have the road in the vector format. You no longer have the exact points between the road. You would need to, it would be pretty easy, I think, to actually decode that from the triangles though. So I'm almost thinking importing this as a 3D model and then just decoding the road path from the 3D model would be the best way to just put this in a game engine. I'm just thinking about if you try to generate this as a 3D model at runtime and try to match it up to a terrain, I feel like you're going to run into so many issues with like the 3D model intersecting the terrain and things like that. And yeah, like, so the other thing with this is while this is 165k triangles, which isn't too bad, this wouldn't be too bad for an actual 3D model rendering, but in a game, you would actually want to have physics and things with this. So my issue is I'm thinking if you're going to do physics collisions for this, 165k triangles is way too big for a mesh collider. The terrain could probably be done with it. Well, I think definitely it could be done with the terrain collider, but what I've noticed in Unity is the terrain collider actually has some like little inaccuracies, so I'm worried about that. But I think you could feed this terrain data into the terrain in Unity. But then I'm also thinking it's like if you're doing the terrain in Unity, try and like fit the roads in the water and do a texture map there as well. And then the buildings would actually be so low polygon that you could use mesh colliders for these buildings. The other thing I'm thinking is if you chunked this, like you split this into chunks and made like level of details for these as different 3D models, I totally think you could actually import all of this just as 3D models and use mesh colliders on chunks of the 3D models. Make it as terrain as height-map, yeah. That's definitely the I actually think that's a tool. Hold on one sec. Convert 3D model to height map. I think Blender even has something for that. Ah, I can do material output and then output the Y or Z axis. Okay. Just look from top and save depth map. Yeah, I actually forgot that like with the node system in Blender now, you could just straight up do a custom material and feed depth or Z to the camera. It's actually great. So I'm just thinking about that. So then you'd want to do the roads and the things separately. I'm curious. I feel like this actually downloaded the terrain as a height map. So it stored the files in this folder where it has this .hgt.gz. I swear this is a height map file. Oh wait, OSM has no height data as you need. This is weird. So this height data, I think, is from a different server than OpenStreetMap. Interesting. HGT. Very simple format. Each file is a series of 60-bit integers giving height of each cell in meters. Yes! Okay. Unity.hgt map to image. HGT to PNG online. See, I think I'm not going to want this, though. I think I'm going to want it not in a PNG, but in like a full floating point. I might want to decode this height map data manually, now that I think about it. Oh wait, this supports TIFF. So this will actually work, because TIFF is like 16-bit. Conversion limit is exceeded. Well, shit. Yeah, so this might actually be something I would need to create a custom tool to do. HGT, import many height map and export including raw. Extracting elevation from .hgt. So yeah, this should be pretty easy to read, and the .gz just means it's gzipped, so I should be able to just decode that. Is it texture to OpenGL? HGT is height map data. Yeah, I think this is something I'm probably going to need to do myself. So yeah, it actually looks like this file should be easy enough to read myself. Nice. So it is an archive. Okay. Cool. So that actually answers it. Man, I was really I'm really happy with figuring this out. Like this is such an insanely powerful tool, being able to just like import map data and terrain data. Actually makes me wonder though, where does it get its terrain data from, this add-on? Terrain and satellite. So it must use some. I wonder if it uses Mapbox. It has to use some other service for terrain files though, because OSM doesn't have terrain and height. It's really interesting how like the river runs through the lowest area. I guess that makes sense. And there's like a little like pond up here in the mountain. It's like a little lake. Alright, that's kind of all I wanted to do. I didn't really plan to export any city or anything. I just kind of wanted to see what the process would be and how you would export this. And like if it's even usable. So far I'm really happy with it. So I'm just looking at some stuff like buildings clip through the ground a tiny bit, but not actually much. Honestly, there's issues with it, but I was kind of expecting more. I was kind of thinking that this wouldn't be usable in a lot of ways, but it's nice that it is. All right. Let's actually do some game development type stuff now. I'm gonna like mess around more with So this is the thing, man. I talked about this the other day. I hate this VR development. Like holy shit, man. This whole stage I'm at where to debug this player movement, I need to like go in and out and in and out and in and out of VR. It's so unbelievably annoying. You hate it, then drop. That's the thing though, like I think I like VR. That's the thing, I need to get over it. Like once I get this done, I feel like it's gonna be so much easier. But like, yeah, getting in and out of VR, I'm not even joking. I'm fairly certain I like hurt the top of my head by repeatedly pulling my hair. So like, I don't know if you could tell, I didn't say anything, but the other day when I was on stream, my hair kept getting caught in the VR headset when I put it on and off. And so I would like rip the VR headset off my head, and I didn't realize that part of my hair is stuck in it, and was literally pulling out like 2 or 3 hairs when I took like the headset off. That's definitely my fault, but it's still just like does not motivate me to do that. So I'm actually thinking about doing some development on the hand animations and doing that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go feed my cat. I'll be right back. Or actually, I think my cat wants out. I don't think it wants food, but we'll see. Alright, so one of the things I was thinking about is for these hands, I'm going to eventually have the player hold items. And one of the issues is if the items are physics based and your player is able to drop an item, I need to be able to check if the item is colliding with anything before you drop it. So I need to, like, I know there's a way to move rigid bodies and it'll not move it if it will collide there, but check if object colliding. So, like, I'm thinking the only way to do this will be to actually have it as a rigid body and, like, check for events, and then if it does get a collision event, then I don't actually put the item on the ground. Or I could encapsulate it by a box. Of rigid body move position. If I could actually get a result from move position, it might actually do what I want. No, that's actually not what I want then. Yep, only thing I'm going to be able to do is on collision, I bet. Alright, so I gotta think about this. Do I... Yeah. So the one thing that, like, I'm gonna need to just spend time just fiddling with and figuring out is this VR movement. I'm not excited to do that. Like I said, taking the headset on and off again, testing this is so annoying. So I'm thinking of moving on to doing, like, the player hands, but then at the same time it's like that's also VR development. And maybe I'll just do maybe I'll just work on these virtual buttons right now. I'm just thinking if toggling these based off the build platform is the best thing to do. Because, like, you might want to... You'll probably still want to test it under, like, PC. I'm wondering if I should just leave it up to developers to enable and disable it. So I'm thinking about what I want with these buttons. Like, I'm thinking maybe I want to add the option to add text on the button, so you can say, like, jump. Yeah, so I think I'm going to leave this on in the editor. And if you don't want this, you can always disable it. Can you set this to null, or will it just show up as an empty string, I think? Yeah, just show up as an empty string. Okay. So I might be able to combine these into one. Text or texture label. That doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe GUI content? But then I don't think I'm going to be able to change the color. And then I have to do it through GUI style. So how do I draw the label centered? Hold on, I'll be right back. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Align middle center. See, it's so weird how this didn't auto indent. Usually Visual Studio just auto indents this. Yeah, why isn't this getting formatted? There's something about that, like, break. Yeah, that's so weird. I could have sworn that it's supposed to auto-indent this. Seems to not be able to automatically indent for some reason here. I wonder if it's because of this. So I wonder if this is getting filtered out because of this if statement, and so then inside here it's not really applying any of the formatting. Whatever, let's just see if this works. Nice. Okay. How do I change the color? Oh my god, is the font style different? Okay, how do I do this? Color? Global tinting of color. Here we go. Very nice. I feel like I could have a little bit better anti-aliasing on that texture right here. I just kind of guessed this interpolator value, but try making it a little bit lower. Yeah, that looks nicer. Alright, so I don't think the label size is going to change either. Like if I make this really big, the text size isn't going to match. No, okay. So what I need to do is also scale up the text size. See, it says 4 dynamic fonts, so I actually wonder if this won't work for all of them. This will probably be way too big, but we'll see. Yeah. Does this not work on Android? This is only supported for fonts set to use dynamic rendering. So I wonder, Unity default font dynamic rendering. I'm assuming the Unity default font is dynamic rendered. Alright, well, should work. Let me just try to get a good size for this now. So width and height should be a nice approximation of the actual size. How big I have to scale it is actually going to be dependent on how much text there is. So I'm going to add a text scale to right here. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. I actually don't have this assigned to touch input yet, so I'm gonna do that now. So in the editor, we're actually gonna check for mouse pressed, but in the actual game, we're going to check for touch pressed. So there's none with color and border radius. Maybe Maybe I'm supposed to set the color like this. Let's try that. Oh yeah, that works. Okay. Said that only worked on shader model 2.5, so I was like, wait, that doesn't seem like the correct function. So I'm just thinking about this. For touch, we're actually going to want to loop through all the positions. So I wonder if I need to invert this. I probably should. Alright, so then outside that, we're going to want to check touch events. I wonder if touches is what we want. Let's look. An array of touch controls represent the touches. Essential finger touching the device. Primary touch represents the touch, which is currently driving the pointer representation used to interact with the UI. First finger that touches the screen. Okay. How am I going to set this? Okay. Input system dot utilities utilities.read-only array. I wonder about even putting these like right here so that it doesn't even include any of this stuff in your build, because I feel like IL2CPP, it actually goes through all of your C# code and figures out what's referenced. So I feel like any of this touch control stuff, I shouldn't reference it if it actually isn't used, because it might include stuff in IL2C++ that isn't actually there. Whatever. So now we just repeat this with the touch screen. Alright, so then if it's not pressed, or if it is pressed and it never gets pressed here, then we'll send the value to control that it's not pressed. Set press to false. Okay. All right. Interesting. So touchscreen current. Oh my god, I didn't realize this. Dot current can actually be null. So touchscreen will be null on certain platforms. Ooh, so that's actually going to make it, that's going to be kind of annoying to detect. I love null. Yeah, so I guess like if touchscreen If does not equal null. There we go. Oh! I bugged that now. It's now flashing on and off. That's interesting. So let's see what's happening here. If pressed, oh, we only send that if it's not currently pressed, but we still need to return regardless of if it's pressed. Okay. And this is why you test little bugs even when you think, this is why you test for little bugs even when you think everything is working. So let me also check, does alpha work with this? Nice. I really love this instant GUI. The instant GUI is so nice for like just simple things like this, like virtual buttons. If you're just trying to just like throw up graphics on the screen without much effort. Alright, so now I'm gonna do a virtual joystick. I actually feel like maybe I should have called this virtual axis, but... And I should also bring up... I'm probably going to need to look at the documentation for the on-screen control or whatever it is now. Here we go. On-screen stick is what it calls it. Ah, okay, so the control path is whether or not it's a vector 2 or button or whatever. So that's good. That's actually what we need. Control path layout equals vector 2. It's weird how this isn't working properly. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to use the circle texture from the virtual button so I don't rewrite that code. And instead we're not going to have is pressed. So I think for the joystick, well, actually, I'm certain for the joystick, I'm not going to want to have it look like the button. So like, instead of just being a circle like this, I feel like I should actually draw it as a circle. Like, so when you do a joystick, it like moves one direction to the other. I feel like the way I'm going to draw that is by drawing a circle within the circle. So we're going to have color and then stick color. Also, I just realized this uses the same rectangle, so I can actually just do this and reuse the rectangle. So this will be the rectangle for the background and the label, but the stick is going to have a different rectangle. Yeah, so I'm going to need to calculate the stick position differently. Like maybe, I guess I'll calculate it in real time from this rectangle instead of calculating another rectangle. Maybe before I get this working, I'll set state to rotate between like sine and cosine over time. So this way I can actually watch it like move or something. Alright, so the hard part is going to be calculating this rectangle. Because this starts in the left and the right, I'm either going to need to offset by... I also need to decide how I'm going to render this. Guess I'll just start simple at the beginning. So what we want to do is interpolate between the X and the X over here. But we actually need to do centering. So we'll do width divided by 2 and height divided by 2 for the center. Y divided by CX. And then I also need to choose the stick size. I just realized I don't think I need any of these other options. So is this must be drawing like out of bounds or something then? Cx cy times width. Oh wait, okay, never mind. There we go. Kind of. Except the... It's at 0, 0, it looks like. Why is that 0, 0? Oh, I guess because it got moved back. So I need to offset this by the actual center plus height times 0.5, and then actually subtract the center to actually get it centered. So then I think I can add state.x now times size, maybe? Nice. Okay. So that shows where our joystick is turned towards. So now let's actually update it. I'm also just thinking, I'm checking this as a bounding box. I feel like the joystick I should actually make as a circle instead of a bounding box. Maybe not. This way you could actually make deformed joysticks, which I think would be a help in some cases. But in another sense, you can't put things as close because of the box borders, but I mean, like, shouldn't be cramming stuff that close together anyways. Alright, so how do I want to calculate the direction here? I'll want to shift this position to be relative to the joystick. So that'll center it around the box. And then we want to divide by the total width and height. Okay. So I'm going to calculate width 2 and height 2 right here. I think I could, wait, I could just do this in one call because it's actually got vector instructions, right? Nice. So now this is our yeah, this is our state. I just need to check if the magnitude is bigger than a certain point. Bigger, then we normalize it. Alright, so now I think it's good. I'm just gonna change this. Alright, let's see if this works. So it doesn't reset when I let go, which it should. So I need to reset this to 0 each frame. I think it's stretching out too far for my liking. I actually think the bounding box is bigger. No, so the bounding box is good. It's just that the sizing is off. That's nice though. So I just realized as well, I should actually add a border because there's a little area between where you like can't get maximum movement or maximum state. But before that, I'm gonna fix this scaling. I'm just thinking, so state.x times size. I think I need to multiply that by center instead, because it goes -1 to 1. Alright. And then padding. I actually think I'm bad at Twitch. Yeah, so it just took me like 2 minutes to figure out how to do that. So Twitch is really weird. I used to be able to. It only lets me time out for 10 minutes. There used to be a way that you could set the exact timeout. I might need to add that to my my auto ban list of words, because someone just coming in and saying I'm going to stream. It's like such obvious self-promotion. How does one increase/decrease the timeout length? Ooh, FFZ has custom moderation buttons. Whatever. I'm not too worried, but whatever. So I think maybe 0.1 padding is good, just like a little area where you can get to the maximum So what I do for this is I actually scale up the magnitude, I believe, or scale down. So basically when you go past a certain point, it all automatically goes to max. So scaling this up will actually scale it down. Scaling it down will actually scale it up if it gets divided by. So I'll add the multiplier here times, actually divided by 1 minus padding. So then at 0.2 it should scale it up by 0.8. Oh yeah, that's nice. I don't know if the padding's working. I'm gonna need to make the stick size smaller. Oh, actually it might be working. I think I just need more padding than I think. This looks good though. So the padding is basically like increases how fast you get to the maximum. So it kind of gives you like more area to control it. I feel like I should add padding around this area too, so the instant you leave it, it doesn't just like snap away. But this actually I think is good. So I'm going to give a bunch of padding and then make the size small. So I wonder how, I guess I should check change. I wonder if this is going to work. I feel like this is going to fail because comparing floating points directly never works well. Oh, this is weird. Oh, so I'm scaling. Okay. I see. I'm scaling the movement by the wrong thing. I'm scaling it by this size when I'm supposed to be scaling it by W2. You know what? I feel like this is usable. This is like... So now I'm just gonna get it to actually feed into the control. Left stick. Yeah, left stick is walk. Okay. Oh my god, look at it. Oh, it's backwards. Oh yeah, I need to flip the Y. Nice. There it actually just left it and didn't update it. So I think what I was worried about of it not updating is exactly what happened. So hold on. Let's flip the Y. State does not equal state. Oh, that's supposed to be vector 2.0. Okay. Oh wait, now it's unaligned. Oh wait, okay. So then I need to render it backwards as well. Oh my god. Wait. So does that mean... I actually never tested this. Is negative y up? in this and Y is down? Yes, it is. Okay. So it seems unaligned. Yeah, it's definitely not matching the screen position properly. So 0 is the top of the screen. Okay, I should do this with the button first. Get this working with the button. Okay, so the calculation works. Actually, so the button is all good. It's whatever it is about calculating the joystick here. Minus width 2. Minus height 2. Oh my god, this is supposed to be Y plus. It's interesting though how flipping the Y position. I wonder if I should keep the state flipped like this. And then I can just multiply this when I send it to the control. So that way I don't need to flip it there. Beautiful. Except it seems like it's snapping back to the center randomly. I don't know. Seems like it's okay right there. Do I just keep going out of bounds? Is that what it is? I guess it's actually good. Actually works. Alright, so now we just apply the same thing to the touch controls. Oh my god, we got it. So this is it. That's everything. That's the virtual button and joystick system. This doesn't really work on computer because you have one, you can only press one at one time, but very nice. So this way you can literally just seamlessly add in mobile controls and like it automatically connects. So this is emulating a gamepad right now. So like basically just design the game to use a gamepad and then you could just add this virtual joystick later if you ever want to add mobile support, and it'll just feed into the joystick movement or a jump button movement or whatever. It's actually such a nice feature. I'm really happy with this new input system in Unity. I've seen a lot of people say it's buggy, but I haven't ran into any bugs myself yet. So I've heard most of the events are with the or the bugs are with the event callbacks, and I'm not using any of the event callbacks, so I think we should be good. So what I just want to check is, I said that this will work if you scale it. So I just want to try. What happens if I make a nice stretched joystick that like stretches across the screen? Nice. Yeah, awesome. I really like this system. So you can just like add virtual joysticks or buttons afterwards. And if you don't want them, you can just remove them or disable them. Awesome. All right. I'm happy with this virtual touch control system. This was like an experimental thing. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to use this, but this was something I've tried to do, and I know a whole bunch of people tried to do previously in Unity, and they never gave you a system previously where you could like emulate inputs. This system they have, where the new input system can be like controlled by these send value to control functions, is so nice, because it opens up all the doors to like these virtual touchscreen controls and things like that. So I'm gonna go have lunch now. I'll be back in like an hour or two. Maybe I'll finally, I need to do this VR development. It's like the hurdle right in front of me before a whole bunch of, like, as soon as this initial stuff of just getting the basic VR movement down of like room scale, it's like it opens the door to so many new things. Like once I get the room scale movement working, so many other things become so much easier. It's basically just like you drop in this movement component and you can just walk through a game world. So it's like, need to work through this hurdle of this room scale movement. It's like, yeah, it's something that sucks, and I'm not motivated to do it, but once I am motivated to do other stuff that relies on this. So it's like once I get this done, it'll make a lot of other stuff way better. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you had a good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.